Good evening and welcome to the Sports 2.0 show, the put the kids to bed version of the Sports 2.0 show. This is the Hump Day, September 8th version of the show. I am Rodney Knuppel. You know me from being here every Sunday and Wednesday. That is Eric, just going by Eric tonight. Just Eric.
He's just Eric.
Yeah.
Just Eric. It's a casual show. The kids are in bed. They don't need to know my last name. The adults don't need to know my last name. It's fine.
Eric. Now, last time Eric was on, we dismissed him very quickly. We gave him a few minutes and we dismissed him very quickly. Tonight, he gets the sixth guest host of the show since the ever famous Tim Van Stratton left me. But Eric, thanks for joining me, buddy. And I know you got a lot going on here on the Sports 2.0 network. Tell the listeners about Eric.
Eric is average sports fan, knows an average amount about everything, not great at anything, but not terrible at anything. I'm the most average guy that you could I'm just average at everything. I mean, if I win 10 bets today, I lose 10 tomorrow, Rodney. That's just the way it goes. But no, I love sports betting, huge St. Louis Cardinals fan, huge Illini and Bulls fan, love the Blues. Love to sit down and watch any kind of sports. Maybe have a little brew tonight. It's a little Schlafly white lager action. Yeah, that's me. I'm all Sports 2.0 network, man. That's me.
Yeah. So you wrote an interesting piece just this week about one of our favorite guys, and we won't turn this whole show into Cardinal centric. You know, we might be able to do a little bit of that in the off season, or maybe a different platform. You and I can spend some time talking Cardinals. But you wrote an interesting piece on Adam Wainwright. Maybe tell the listeners a little bit about that piece, and then maybe tell them why you are right about that piece.
Sure. Well, for one, I'm right because I'm always right. I've never been wrong. I don't know if you know that, but no, I started this piece on Adam Wainwright just kind of to pay homage, pay my respects to one of my favorite players of all time.
Yeah.
One of my favorite pitchers of all time, one of my favorite Cardinals of all time. And I kind of went into it, as a biased Cardinal fan. And I started digging into his stats and numbers, and I started looking at some other Hall of Famers. And, man, I just started noticing, there are so many Hall of Fame pitchers that are way, way worse than Adam Wainwright statistically. And there was a lot that stood out to me. Fernando Valenzuela has a lower career WAR than Waino. For those of you that follow WAR, I'm not a WAR as an end all be all type of guy, but it is an important stat. So yeah. I could not believe that Valenzuela had a lower WAR than Waino. So, but there was a lot of guys like that. Just from his career ERA to the longevity to how amazing he's been in the playoffs, under 3, I think 2.89 ERA. In the postseason throughout his career, and that's 27 appearances. So it's not like he's thrown a few times. But I was really impressed, and as I was going through the numbers, I just kind of decided to turn the piece into this guy deserves some serious consideration for the Hall of Fame, whether people like it or not. People love to, people like to say Yadier Molina won't make the Hall of Fame, which is absurd. So, I know people love to hate the Cardinals, but I don't know how you can hate this guy. He's the nicest human in the world. Yep. Just doesn't have a bad bone in his body. And all he does is go out there every season. And, well, other than, those couple of bad years, 2016 to 2018, we'll forget about 2016 to 2018. But all the guy does is go out there and win games. I mean, tonight he's facing one of the best offenses in the league. He goes out there, he pitches 8 innings, only allows a couple of runs, strikes out a few. And the most important thing to me is 0 walks.
Yep.
And for the 2021 Cardinals, man, 0 walks. It's impossible for any other pitcher basically at this point. So.
Yeah, it's almost weird to watch a guy not walk guys, give guys free bases, walk bases loaded, hit guys. But yeah, I mean, Adam Wainwright this year right now he's second in innings pitched. If he finishes the job tonight, it would be his 15th win. It would be second in wins. He's a top 7 or 8 in ERA, and so he's not going to win the 2021 Cy Young because it's going to be a Dodger. It's going to be it's going to be Bueller, it's going to be Urias, or it could be one of the Brewers guys. Corbin Burns is a 2.38 ERA. So there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to have some numbers better than him, but he needs votes. He'll get votes. He'll get a good opportunity, likely finish top 5. And for a guy that just turned 40 years old last week, I'm with you. I think that's just incredibly impressive. And, I know we're both excited. One more year of Adam Wainwright.
That's right.
I would just like to see him throw another postseason outing.
Yeah.
And that's where I think next year, like literally the Cardinals have to throw the kitchen sink at next year's team. I mean, you can't let the opportunity for Wainwright and Molina to miss the playoffs again. Now, if they do, but you have to give every effort. You have to, obviously keep Arenado. You have to keep Goldschmidt. You have to get a better bullpen. I think you need to go get a stud shortstop. I mean, I think next year you literally have to throw the kitchen sink and say, okay, Yachty, okay, Wainwright, here's your chance, and go after it.
I agree. And that's a huge thing for me that this offseason is a star shortstop, just because there's going to be so many on the open market coming up over the next 2 off seasons. I mean, you've got some great infielders that are going to be available. You're going to have Jose Ramirez available. Yep. You're going to have Corey Seager, Trevor Story. I mean, there are going to be several huge shortstops that you can go get. I was fine with Paulie DeYoung for a couple of years. I honestly thought he'd become a better hitter than what he's showing right now, and I think he probably will be a little better than he is now in the future. But he's not it. You can't get this low production out of both of your middle infielders. Right. Tommy Edman is starting to hit the ball a little bit now, or a little bit better than he was midsummer. But I agree. I think you throw everything you have at next season. You don't take a chance of Arenado taking that second opt-out. You give it all you got this year. You make sure Yachty and Waino and maybe Albert Pujols.
Yeah.
One more.
Yeah. I think I'm really big on if the National League goes to the DH, you have to bring Pujols back. If there's not going to be a DH, I just don't know as if you need the. Yes, it would be nice if Pujols was on your roster, but you're not going to sit Paul Goldschmidt very often.
No.
And Albert can't play anywhere else. He just can't. So if they bring the DH now, obviously, I mean, Major League Baseball's got to get that out there. I'm just baffled that we don't know. We just make the decision. Figure it out. And it just frustrates me that we don't know. And when are we going to know? That makes a difference in rosters.
Absolutely.
What I was going to say is I think the kids these days call Paul DeYoung just not that guy. Is that how the term is? I think there's the kids say that, right? It's just not that guy.
He's just not that guy. And that's right, too. He's just not that guy. He has looked, clueless at the plate at times this year. Just I know your famous Twitter saying, what are you looking at, Paulie? I don't know how many times that I've said that sitting on my couch this year. Hey, what are you looking at there, Paulie? 0-2 count on the corner, man. Get that off your shoulder. Let's go.
Yeah,
I agree. Kitchen sink next year for the Cardinals. We need these guys to ride off into the sunset in style. Also, shout out to Paul Goldschmidt, who worked his way in somehow into the top 10 in WAR in the National League this week. Just red hot for the last several months now. Just I love seeing it.
Yeah. One more thing on baseball. So it's funny because my 10-year-old, he's going to be 11, so it's an 11-year-old baseball team, had a first fall game tonight, and his first at bat, what did he do? He struck out looking. Now, was it probably a strike? Well, 11-year-olds maybe. It was pretty high and outside, but that's not the point. My point was if he was following Twitter, would have tweeted at him, "What you looking at, son?
what you looking at?"
Yeah, because I don't deal with it wasn't a strike. Well, the umpire called it a strike, so it was a strike. Anyways, that's probably enough baseball for tonight. Let's move our attention to where everybody wants to move the attention to, and that is the National Football League. Now we'll get to Tampa Bay, Dallas here in just a bit because that's tomorrow's game. I think we're both going to be on the same page there. I want to start with Tua. Tua's your guy. Tua's your guy. What do you need to see out of Tua this year? What do you need to see out of your Dolphins to Tua's that guy. Tua's the guy. What do you need to see out of the guy?
Man, I do think that Tua is that guy just from what I have the little bit that I have seen. he's shown flashes where I've seen some great leadership. I've seen him be able to move around, which is great. I hate quarterbacks that are trapped in the pocket, unless it's Tom Brady. If I had Tom Brady, I wouldn't be so upset that my quarterback had no legs. But I love the way Tua moves around outside the pocket. I love the way he throws on the run. What I would like to see is our offensive line keep him upright, for one thing, a lot of the season. And I just want to see him take that next step up. Last year, coming off the hip injury, there was a lot of uncertainty after that hip injury. A lot of people don't recover fully from the hip injury that he had. So glad to see that he's 100% this year. I'm glad to see that in preseason he's seemed like a leader, which has been great. Like, the Dolphins have had crap leadership for pretty much my entire life since Dan Marino. They just haven't had anything for a leader. And I love that he's, getting in guys' faces like, hey, this is how we're running routes. We're playing hard every play. I just want to see him take that next step. I would love to see a friend of mine and I were talking the other day, and I said, I'd love to see 3,500 pass yards. And he said, how about 2,800 and 700 on the ground? And I said, I'll take that. I'll take that as long as he doesn't do like a Jameis Winston 30 and 30 on the TD to interception ratio. But I would take upper 2000s passing yards and maybe 500-600 on the ground from him this year, and just look to become that leader, that future of the Dolphins.
Yeah. So week 1, Dolphins at Patriots. Patriots 3-point favorite. You like your Dolphins to go on the road to win that one?
Oh, if this were in Miami, my money would be all over Miami. We own the Patriots in Miami. We're not quite as hot in Foxborough. For the last few seasons, we haven't been bad in Foxborough, but we own them in Miami. I'm staying away from that game because my heart wants to pick Miami and my head's telling me to not bet against Bill Belichick at Foxborough. And honestly, with he's going up against a guy that was his backup quarterback in Mac Jones. Man, he's looked really good in the preseason. I mean, the clips I've seen in preseason from training camp, from games, he has looked killer during the preseason. Yeah. So I'm not betting against the Patriots in that game. At the same time, fins up, go Dolphins. I pray for them. I'm very curious to see our defense actually more than our offense in that game, just because we're bringing Howard back. You're defending a rookie quarterback. This is a game our defense ought to be able to get the job done in, and I still don't have total faith that they will. So
yeah. Let's move to tomorrow night's game. That's the game everybody's waiting for, the game everybody's going to watch. Neither one of us necessarily have rooting interest in this one. Dallas and Tampa Bay, everybody likes to cheer against Dallas, but there are many people that obviously want to root against Tom Brady as well. So we got Dallas, we got Tampa Bay. My thoughts are, I just don't know. I don't see a path for Dallas at all. I mean, the path for me tomorrow night is going to be Tampa Bay is going to have to be bad. It's going to have to Brady's going to have to finally show some kind of wear and tear at 44 years old. The Tampa Bay defense is going to have to be bad somehow, and I just don't see a path. I like Tampa Bay to win this one, probably by double digits. It's an 8-point spread. I mean, your thoughts, Tampa Bay and Dallas?
I 100% agree. I got Tampa Bay by double digits. I just don't see a bad game coming out of Brady. That defense is still stout. I actually think their offense is going to be better this year. Brady in his second year, Gronk in his second year back. I think Fournette is going to be a huge piece this year. And honestly, he should be. I mean, he should be able to surpass Ronald Jones easy. This guy is coming off a season where he very well could have been MVP a couple of years ago. He hasn't lost it, So expect huge things out of Fournette. You were right. I don't think there's much of a path for Dallas to get the job done here, even if they have a great game. I think Tampa Bay blows them away.
Yeah, I don't know if you're following the Cardinals, but it's now 5-3, and the Dodgers have tying run at first base. Wainwright has come out of the game, so we'll keep an eye on that. Both of us might just log off quickly on here if this one doesn't go well. But
if everything goes dark, I probably wouldn't set my house on fire.
We flipped something over in here. But other games in the NFL on Sunday, I know a lot of people in our neck of the woods want to talk about that Rams-Bears game Sunday night. a lot of Bears fans, and then of course there are some carryover Rams fans. Some people obviously just don't want to see the Rams because of the old St. Louis connection. But Bears, Rams, they are starting Andy Dalton. What camp are you in? Andy Dalton, Justin Fields, week 1. I mean, if you were making that decision, you go on Andy Dalton, you go on Justin Fields.
Man, this is interesting because if I'm the Bears, I just would not have dealt with this situation at all like they did. If I'm drafting Justin Fields, I probably don't bring in Andy Dalton. Because Justin Fields is a guy that I want to put on the field right away. I mean, he's looked phenomenal in the preseason. He was a killer at Ohio State. I mean, he was a killer at Georgia before that, just on the practice squad. So, I mean, this is a guy that I want in the game. But, what has Andy Dalton done to not deserve to start? I mean, he's always been a serviceable QB.
Yeah.
He's fine in Cincinnati. He's never been terrible. I mean, he couldn't get past the first round of the playoffs like many quarterbacks can't. But I want Justin Fields on the field. Kind of feel bad for Andy Dalton because, like I said, he's solid quarterback. Definitely better than several starting quarterbacks in this league.
Yeah.
So.
Who do you like? You like the Rams? You like the Bears? It's 7.5 spread. Who do you like in the game? And then, you like a pick there at all?
Man, I really like the Bears defense this year. I mean, everybody likes the Bears defense most years because that's usually what they do. But, man, what I like more than that is Matt Stafford in L.A. I think that's dangerous, man. I think with Bobby Woods, Cooper Kupp, I think the Rams, I think they handle their business in week 1.
Yeah, I think so too. And in fact, I went on a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to ask you here in a minute, my Super Bowl pick is the Rams this year, and I don't like it, but I got Rams Buffalo in the Super Bowl. Let me go with yours. Who you like this year in the Super Bowl and why?
Man, you hit me before week 1 with the Super Bowl question.
When you got to pick.
For one, I've got to go. I'm going to roll with my guy Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs in the AFC. Just because right in Mahomes' prime from now for the foreseeable future, I'm sure he'll make it several times, kind of become this generation's Tom Brady, going to a lot of Super Bowls. The NFC is just a complete mess to me. Like mentally, I have no idea what is going to happen in the NFC. That being said, I'm going to roll with a pissed off Aaron Rodgers, taking the Packers deep and squaring off with Patty Mahomes. Also, just a matchup that I'd love to see. Pat Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl is something that, man, that's going to bring some eyes in. So I'm going to go with Packers. I'm going to go with Chiefs. And I'm not going to pick a winner because I don't bet against either one of those quarterbacks, Rodney.
Packers, Chiefs. All right. Well, another quick update here. It's 5-4, but 2 outs in the 9th.
Oh, Jesus.
So, and I find it interesting because Jeff Jones just tweeted that Adam Wainwright actually did not provide a quality start tonight. 8 1/3, but he gave up 4 earned runs. That's kind of dumb. But anyways, there are 2 outs in the game. I'll let you know how that goes. So, Chris,
I don't even know if I want to know.
Yeah, Chris Taylor is up 5-4, 2 outs in the 9th. But going back to football, so my thought is, Matthew Stafford, you mentioned dangerous with the defense there in L.A. The weapons, obviously, they need to stay healthy. That's the case with everybody. And then on the other side, I just think it's Josh Allen's turn. I think it's time for him. I know that's a divisional rival for you there in Miami, but I think it's Josh Allen's turn to get there. I do like the weapons. I'm a little bit nervous about Buffalo and what they're going to do throughout the year. Like, are they going to have guys that play, or are they going to have to sit out? Or I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. Somebody on Twitter didn't like it. Like, I don't know as if I like it because they're just not following the rules.
Yeah, and it's just silly. It's just silliness.
Yeah, I mean, whether you like the rules or not, they're just simply not. So I'll go Buffalo. I'll go L.A. I don't know how much confidence I have, but it's about as much confidence as I had with Tampa Bay getting to the Super Bowl last year, and look what happened there. They picked up what they got there. So
even for a division rival, I love Josh Allen, man. I love watching that kid play football. He's a fun player to watch. That Buffalo offense with him and Diggs is a lot of fun. They could use some help coming out of the backfield. They need Moss or Singletary to really step up this year. But yeah, Buffalo likely going deep in the playoffs in the AFC. I could see that.
Yeah, one more game we'll talk about. The Monday night game is Baltimore and the Vegas Raiders. I don't know what to think about Vegas. I would like Vegas to be good. I think the NFL would be even more fun if Vegas was good. Like if John Gruden actually had a good team, Vegas was excited about the team. They were possibly going to the playoffs, that new big sexy stadium. I just don't know what to think. And then on the other side, like, what's the deal with Baltimore? I mean, they just continue to be good. They continue to cover spreads and win games. I guess I'd like to find Baltimore's secret. You got any thoughts, Baltimore, Vegas, Monday night?
Man, Baltimore, not the team. It's not the team that confounds me. I still don't know who Lamar Jackson is, man. I don't know who he is. I've seen flashes where he is a brilliant all-around quarterback, not just running the ball, but he can throw. He's reading defenses. And then other times when I wonder what in the hell he's doing out there. So Baltimore just confounds me. But like you said, they're always good. They always find a way. Harbaugh always finds a way. That defense is always solid. And the Raiders, I was huge proponent of them bringing Gruden in. Loved John Gruden. Loved him on Monday Night Football. Loved him growing up, watching him coach the Raiders in Tampa Bay. Hasn't shown me much since his return to Vegas, since his return to the Raiders. Love the skill players for the Raiders. Not a fan of their quarterback. I've said for years Derek Carr is the best backup quarterback in the NFL. And I truly believe that. I think he'd be a great backup quarterback. But I just don't know if, he's just a solid, I don't know if he can lead you deep into the playoffs. I don't know how deep he can lead you. I love Henry Ruggs, love Josh Jacobs, though. Those two I draft on several fantasy teams this year. Ruggs runs 1,000 miles an hour, and Jacobs is solid every season. Love their skill players. If I'm picking this game, I'm going to go Baltimore just because Old Faithful, I guess, out of just almost instinct, I'm going Harbaugh.
Hey, the Cardinals won 5-4. Giovanni Gallegos struck out Chris Taylor to win the game. So they stay alive, I guess you can call it, for another night. But 5-4 win. They got the 12-15 game tomorrow. Let's go back to baseball real quick. I was surprised to see the Julio Urias, Jake Woodford line at only like minus 190 tomorrow. I mean, I think you got to pound the Dodgers in that one, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Urias is the NL leader in wins, and Jake Woodford is the guy that Nick Castellanos was going to bury. So I just
completely.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but that was a good win for the Cardinals. So hey, let's turn to college football real quick. I know your team. I can't mention them. That's one of the rules on my show is I do not mention them by name. They've got those diamonds, the orange and blue diamonds. And in the Big Ten in general. So first of all, to that game, I mean, the UTSA going to Champaign and winning got to be a little frustrating after the home win over Nebraska.
Oddly, I had just written a piece about UTSA, and as I'm doing the research, I'm thinking they're coming to Champaign and they're going to beat us. I felt it coming. And we got off to a little bit of a slow start. I was immediately scared. We got back in it a little bit. We're down 6 at the half. And I'm like, okay, this is tolerable. This is handleable. And, of course, what happened next. Coming off that win at Nebraska, would have really liked to be 2-0. Would love to have carried the Big Ten Conference lead for at least 2 weeks into the season before. I remind you that we are tied in the Big Ten with the most wins right now. So just throwing that out there. But, it's very frustrating. For my guys here at Illinois, it's been a long time since we've been any good at all. I would just love to see an above 500 season where we go to a bowl game and are competitive in the bowl game. I just want to see some competitive football. It's been a long time since I've seen competitive football at Illinois. And my other team, the University of Miami, also got ran off the field by a pretty decent team. I don't know if you've heard of them, the Crimson Tide or whatever.
Yeah.
So not a great college football weekend for me. My betting picks did okay. I was about 50-50, but Illinois and Miami just getting blown off the field.
Yeah, I mean, that's my next question. Alabama's not losing, right? I mean,
No.
they're not losing. I mean, the only team that competes with them is Clemson, and
Yep.
Clemson scored 3 points in their opener. They obviously need Trevor Lawrence. Ohio State, we know how that's going to go. Ohio State, Alabama is not going to go well. Oklahoma, Alabama won't go well.
Nope.
And I guess I just like, is that going to be fun? Like, we know who's going to win the national championship. Is that fun?
Man, I'm back to where, back in the whenever AJ McCarron was the QB and that the best defense I've ever seen in college football. I mean, those 2 seasons back to back, you just knew. And I don't know that it is going to be fun. The SEC hasn't been fun for me in years because of Alabama. I hate it. I mean, I love that there's a great team in college football. I guess that's great for, Crimson Tide fans. Good for them. But I'm bored of it. I want to see somebody down there that can, contest. And this year, pretty much the only other body in the SEC that can is Georgia, and I just don't even think they're in the same class as Alabama. So I think Alabama goes undefeated and on their way to another national championship.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the betting odds to win the national championship in Alabama. I'm actually surprised because I think I put them at minus money and say, but they're plus 210, and then you got Georgia plus 390. That's not a big discrepancy, really. I guess Vegas or these odds makers are a little bit higher on Georgia. I don't know if we'll start seeing that gap expand. Ohio State's plus 500. Clemson's still plus 700. No chance I'm taking them at plus 700.
No way.
And then Oklahoma's 800. And then the next highest is.
Can you hear me, Rodney? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, there we go. I lost I was like, well, I can see his mouth moving. What's he talking about? What's going on?
Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is that I don't like that there's literally only 5 teams with the ability, basically, according to Vegas, to win national championship. But I guess if I'm an Alabama fan, I love that. And I say, hey, bring it. Beat us. But that's just my thoughts on college football. And
I would love to see the ACC, the Big Ten, the Pac-12, the Big 12 step up their recruiting game and just start competing. I mean, we compete. We all compete. Our teams all compete within the conference, and then we get smoked by an SEC team in the playoffs. I'm tired. It's a tired story to me. I mean, I understand why all the good players want to go to the SEC. Hell, I would too. If I'm a dominant high school football player, I'm going to even the worst SEC school just so I can be seen on national TV 10 times a year. So I get why it happens, but I'm not digging it. It's not fun.
All right, Eric, NFL Sunday's coming up this Sunday. What is Eric doing Sunday? Take me through your Sunday.
My Sunday is very interesting. It's I wake up, I eat a shitload of food, and then I camp in this one spot on my couch in front of Red Zone for about 7 hours, and I try my best to not move at all. And then pretty much just scrolling, checking all the fantasy teams, texting buddies, haha, your team's losing, you suck, stuff like that. That's it. I'm a lazy Sunday kind of guy. When it comes to NFL football, I'm not out partying. I'm not out drinking with my buddies. I am sitting, eating food, scrolling my fantasy teams, watching the Dolphins and watching Red Zone, man. That's me on Sundays.
Yeah, is that going to be 18 Sundays in a row?
It's 18. Oh man, it is 18 this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to gain a few extra pounds this football season. It's good to know. I'm going to have to add a mile to that walk we were talking about.
So I guess I'm asking, is your wife basically, or the significant other, I guess I'll call her, does she approves of your Sunday plan?
It gets in the way, like very few. There's I can't remember. I'm gonna forget again this year. There's some day between now and the end of the season. There's actually, I think, two of them. There's 2 Sundays where she'll want me to go have lunch with the in-laws, and I have to remind her that it's a Sunday, and it's every year. Every year this happens, and then it also happens on my birthday, which is March 22nd. And I'm like, honey, I don't know if you know what month it is, but we don't go. There's no dinner on March 22nd. There's college basketball on March 22nd. I hear about no in-laws on March 22nd. Okay, but she's pretty chill with it. She kind of lets me have my day. Sometimes she digs. She plays on her computer. She plays Sims. So
Yeah.
she'll go play Sims, and she'll make me have the kids in the front room while I'm watching football. But I just give them food, and that shuts them up too. So they're fine. It's all good. I just chill out, man. I love it.
So we got some kind of good news in baseball. The Cubs walked off the Reds. Now
Hey,
we're not typically excited over Cub wins, but that is a nice. So I believe the Cardinals are 2.5 back of the Reds, but still 3.5 back of the Padres. Padres are going to win tonight's game. But anyways, that's kind of where we're at with Major League Baseball. All right, Eric, we're going to wrap it up for the night. So any final NFL? So we didn't get to a lot of your hot takes. Not a lot of hot takes tonight. But I got to ask you before you leave, any off the wall hot takes here as either the baseball season ends or the football season starts? Anything you want to get out there? You're live right now, so let's hear it.
I still think the Cardinals make the playoffs this year somehow. They're getting into that wild card spot, and it's going to be on the back of Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. That's pretty much all we got, as you know. Somehow Nato is like 3rd or 4th in the league in RBIs right now, even though a lot of his other numbers are down. So he's still hitting the ball with runners in scoring position. Somehow we sneak into that wild card spot. Watch us beat the Dodgers or the Giants and get to that divisional series. I mean, it'll blow me away too. But that's my big hot take. And also, I don't know that this is that hot, but Justin Herbert, MVP.
Okay, I like it.
Season for Justin Herbert. I mean, I know everybody liked what they saw out of him last year. I'm no different. Loved what I saw. I'm looking for an MVP season from this guy this year. He's going to be a monster.
So let me get this straight. It is September 8th. The Cardinals have 24 games left. They are 3.5 out of a wild card, 2.5 behind Cincinnati. Philadelphia is in between them. The Mets are right on their tail. The Cardinals will face the Reds, the Mets, the Padres, the Brewers, still remaining. And you're going to go on record still today that the Cardinals make that wild card.
We've got the teams we need coming up. Those are the teams we need to play. The Mets and the Phillies they're not very good. I mean, they have some star players. They've been hot a few times this season. They're just not great. You know, I have no faith that the Mets and Phillies can really go on a run here. Of course, the Padres and the Brewers scare me. But yeah, I think we sneak into that wild card spot. And it wouldn't surprise me if we used a little bit of that devil magic and somehow got to the NLDS, man. This is just it doesn't feel like the 2011 or 2006 season. It just feels like a season where we're going to make the playoffs and lose in the NLDS, really.
So it's Tyler Mahle against John Lester on Friday. It's Luis Castillo against Miles Michaelis on Saturday.
This is getting rough.
It's Sonny Gray against Jay Happ on Sunday.
We are lining up terrible against the Reds right now. Wayno, can you pitch again tomorrow?
The Cardinals will literally be underdogs in all 3 games at home this weekend. And if they lose all 3 of those games, Eric, I just want to remind you, they'll be dead. They're dead. If they lose all 3, they're dead. It's over. Good night. Turn out the lights. The party's over.
That's right.
And the Cardinals are literally throwing out John Lester, Miles Michaelis. Miles Michaelis is more concerned wearing flags on his shirt than he is throwing strikes.
Oh, yeah.
And Jay Happ. And let me remind you, the last time Jay Happ faced the Reds, he got 4 outs.
Yeah, it did like 7 earned runs or something. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. So, man, That's a tough rotation we have there. Sheesh, that's just terrible, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully our offense comes to play ball this weekend because we are facing some great pitching in Cincinnati. And go J.A. Happ and John Lester. Great,
Yeah.
great pickups, Mo. Good job.
All right. Hey, that's the Put the Kids to Bed version of the Sports 2.0 show. A little bit different tonight. We didn't do the See It Time. We didn't do the GCD. We didn't want to tonight. We talked football. We talked baseball. That is Eric. I am Rodney. Thank you for joining us. I'll have Eric back on. You'll find us. Hey, you've got a hobby show, right? You had about 30 seconds on your hobby show. Why don't you tell listeners what's going on there?
We missed last week. Me and DB do it. Dan Bradley. It's the Hobby Half Hour with Lil Rick and DB. It's going to be every Friday, 6 Eastern time. We just chat some baseball cards, some football cards, some memorabilia, what's going on in the Topps Panini hobby world. We have a lot of fun. We rip packs live. We rip blasters live. Just general card hobby fun, man. You know, I love to collect. I know you do as well. So me and DB have a lot of fun on the show. Come join us, watch us rip some cards with us, chat some cards with us every Friday, 6 Eastern time. We'll see you there. We'd love to have you guys on.
Sounds good. I actually I'm meeting DB for lunch tomorrow, so I'm excited for that. Yeah, I'm excited for that. All right, I'm Rodney. He's Eric. This has been the Put the Kids to Bed version of the Sports 2.0 show. Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on Sunday night for another version of the Sports 2.0. Put the Kids to Bed.